We need to abolish the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. I just don't understand why, how we, the people of the United States, let this happen for so long. Many of us were born into the Federal Reserve System, and we have no concept of life outside of the Federal Reserve System. I call it the enslavement system because when you zoom out, you have two classes. You have the people that print the money and the people who they print the money out of thin air. And then in the second class, you have those who dedicate their lives to that money, to make money, breaking their backs to make money. Most people fall in the second class, with the slave class, right? Because when you have people who print money out of thin air, they are not living by the same rules as everybody else. They have the ability, the knowledge, the information. Let's say that there's, a few hundred people actually a few thousand, but just for debate's sake, that these 100, 200 people that work directly with the Federal Reserve, they know what's going to happen tomorrow at the Federal Reserve. They know what the Federal Reserve is going to buy. They know what the Federal Reserve is going to do tomorrow. So anybody that works with the Federal Reserve, directly for the Federal Reserve, can go out and pre-purchase the items that the Federal Reserve will buy tomorrow. They can buy them today and then sell them back to the Federal Reserve tomorrow for a profit. This is information. Priority of information. The first class, the Federal Reserve, dictates what they buy. They know what they are going to buy in the near future, and they make trades on it. And it's basically them printing money out of thin air for themselves. And the rest of us, we have to go out, wake up early, break our backs, put up with bullshit for most of our lives just to own what the Federal Reserve prints out of thin air. So we have to abolish the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. And the reason why I say don't abolish the Federal Reserve, sometimes I do say abolish the Federal Reserve, but if they have a product, they shouldn't require a monopoly, right? They want to compete against all of these hedge funds, all of these crypto dudes, all of the entrepreneurs. They're free to do it. My thing is, don't give the Federal Reserve a monopoly. Let others compete. And the only way we can do that is by abolishing the monopoly law, which is the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. All right. So that's basically it for this video here. Trump hadn't talked about abolishing the Federal Reserve. At best, he's saying that he wants to put in his own guy in the Federal Reserve, but Trump put in Powell to begin with, right? So there's that. J.D. Vance won't do anything. We just have to abolish the Federal Reserve. We have to vote for people. We have to speak out. And we have to get rid of the central bank. Because central bank automatically sets up two classes: those who print the money and those who work for the money. That's it. And most people, 99.9% of the population, of the US population, is in the second class, while the small percent that work directly with the Fed or know somebody at the Federal Reserve, they're getting money for free just because they know what the Federal Reserve is going to do tomorrow. Is this front running? So it is insider trading, front running, whatever you want to, collusion, conspiracy, whatever you want to call it, is not right. If the Federal Reserve thinks that they can compete with everybody else, all these hedge funds and all these entrepreneurs, they just take away the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. Let the Fed compete. But we know that the Fed makes the worst decisions. They're horrible, manipulative, and they would not survive if it was not for the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. The Federal Reserve would have went belly up decades ago. So that's it for this video. I appreciate you watching. Leave a comment. Let me know if you think this is right, wrong. I'd appreciate your comments. Have a great day.